Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Chairman of the Town Council for the Town of Clinton, Chris Aniskovich. Chris, welcome. How are you?
Good, Peter. How are you?
Good, my friend. Good, my friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, even on this
What's
format.
going on?
Lots, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Based upon what everybody's seeing, I can say everything's going good. So,
Yeah, I know.
I guess the first thing we'll talk about, obviously, is what everybody's looking forward to hearing about is just the old Morgan site. Obviously, the sale of that happened last month, and the developer immediately started, going into the building and doing his demolition, some remediation as it relates to the asbestos that there was there. So he's been dealing with all of that and taking care of all that. People drive by, they can see a change every day, and it's exciting for the town. It's important. It was an important sale for us on a couple of different levels. It's been around for a while. We're on to developer 2, finally, resolving this issue and moving on to the sale. And a developer that's really, really great. I mean, he's doing a wonderful job with the building itself, working hard to get all this thing and the demolition done so we can move on. Everybody knows, apparently by this point, that Big Y is going to be the anchor tenant in there. They've signed a long-term lease with the developer. And from what I've been told, have kind of given some earmarks as far as what they have to do and how quickly they want everything done. So they are very, very interested in getting in there as quickly as possible. One of the other tenants over there would be Starbucks, and the developer is still in the process of obviously engaging more tenants for the building that are going to be going up. So
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, you said there's going to be a Starbucks there with the Dunkin' Donuts next door.
Right. It's always the same way, right? So you got to CVS,
Absolutely.
you got a Walgreens. That's what happens. So, right. I mean, it's exciting because, and on the other level would just be with Clinton Crossing, with them being across the street and what he's trying to do now. So what had happened in one of the delays going into the demolition part was some changing on the phasing, because originally the phasing, there was earmarks as far as phasing, what he was going to do first. So one of the things we had to switch up was making sure that this first phase included the Big Y building. So we did that, and then ultimately doing the other pads that are in the front for, I'm assuming, restaurant type tenants, which he's still in negotiation with, which we have no clue what they are at this point. We just do Starbucks is one, and with Crossing not having any food court or anything else over there, obviously this is huge. And again, even in the environment that we're in the middle of COVID, but just how quickly they're going through and making all this happen. And it's important. It just shows the kind of developer that, that we engaged for this project, because he is doing, a heck of a job on this property.
Absolutely. Speaking of what's going on with COVID, how's the town of Clinton handling the whole COVID situation?
I guess we can say as best as we can. I mean, the difficult thing is, it's difficult kind of to control it. You have to have everybody buy into kind of what they're asked to do. And unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't always happen. Our numbers in Clinton have gone up drastically in the past couple months. We were upgraded to orange last week. And then prior to, obviously, the governor going forth and setting us back to 2.1, we probably would have upgraded again. So the numbers are based upon, and your grade level is based upon the number of positive tests within a period of time. And ours weren't good. Based upon final numbers that came out today, we're up to 173 that had tested positive. During the pandemic, how many are currently, and there's a lot of questions that people have. And I think the one thing that, we hope that people can understand is we're only given and provided so much information. So the health district notifies us when there's a positive test. Going forward, there's no other information. So we're not notified, anything other than that. So it's basically somebody testing positive and the age and gender bracket that they're in. Other than that, we don't know. So we don't know how many people are still positive out there. We don't know how many people have retested and are now negative. If there's a death, obviously we're notified. I think we can be thankful that the fact that thankfully people are, are working towards this and understanding a little bit more about it, so that we're seeing deaths related to this now. So being thankful for that. But it's not going to go away. It doesn't seem like anytime soon. And it's unfortunate for, the kids that go to school. Virtual learning is very difficult for these kids that are seniors going into college, the first year kids in college. I mean, this is having a big impact on everybody, and it's hard. And it's, you you try to get everybody to buy in and wear the mask and do what you're supposed to do and social distance. But again, at the end of the day, we have to rely on the individuals to do their part to help, resolve this issue. So knock on wood, hopefully the 2.1 will help a little bit, but we're still concerned locally. We're still concerned. You're concerned for the restaurant owners that now have to dial back, the percentage that they can have in their buildings at this time. So it's going to be hard on them. We're going into the winter months. So, outdoor dining becomes more of an issue. So it's going to have sort of a big impact on a lot of different people, a lot of different industries. And it's, you feel bad. And that's why you want to make sure that people understand, do your part so that we don't have to kind of deal with this going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of doing your part and what's going on with the virus and how things are handled at the town hall?
So the town hall handles things kind of how they handled it previously. At one point, we had to shut town hall down for a period of time and do a deep cleanse. At this point, by appointment only at town hall. People are limited to where they can go once they're in town hall, either lower level or upper level. They try to limit people's interaction, or the public's interaction, when they go into the building. So they try to kind of limit where that individual goes once they do get into the building, which helps. So, but other than that, you make an appointment to go to land use, so that everything's scheduled so that they know when somebody's coming in, upper door, lower door, so that people know where to go. And hopefully that's it's working, obviously, because town hall seems to be, knock on wood, going fine at this point. So we just hope we don't run into any more issues going forward.
And as far as how things going with the town council?
Good.
Good.
So far so good. I think we're working, hard to get some things together. We did a goal setting meeting last month. All council members got together and we kind of discussed a lot of things about what we want to work towards, what we need to work towards, take a lot of the politics out of this, take a lot of the, who are you working on behalf of, and making sure that we all as a council understand that, we're going to go and work through to the people in the town of Clinton, because those are the ones that elected us. So, we need to make sure that what we're doing and the decisions that we're making on the council are decisions that are in the best interest of the people of the town of Clinton. That being said, obviously, you have 7 members. You got sometimes 7 different ideas of what people want, which personally I think is a great idea, because it gives you, more opinions. It gives you more ideas on what we need to do in town. But under the understanding that we all still need to work together. So taking out if it's not my idea or I don't like it, that's kind of, we got to put all that to the side and say, listen, if it's an idea that we think will benefit the town, let's all jump on board and be supportive of that idea, regardless of who was the one that brought it forth.
Exactly. And as far as like town council meetings go, you guys are still meeting virtually, correct?
We are still meeting virtually twice a week, twice a month.
Twice a month.
First meeting of every month is in the morning at 8 a.m. Second meeting is at 7. Our next meeting is this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And one of the things I do want to talk about, I think, and I should urge people to do, because you do hear a lot of talk, this is still, our new form of government is still in the infancy stage. And I want people to understand kind of how it works and how it operates.
Yeah,
and
please.
More people need to get involved so that they understand that, a town manager, as much as they want that person to be out front and be the quote unquote spokesperson of the town manager really doesn't do that. Town managers are there to run the town on a day-to-day basis. They're there to work with the department heads, setting the budget, doing those things that make the town operate. So, there's always, and I mean, again, you hear these things, but you just want to make sure people understand that, that's the way it works. He's an apolitical position. And let's just say, should a town manager come out and say something, if he makes a comment that people may construe as supporting one party or another party, it creates a problem. So that's why, as a town manager, they stay out of the limelight. They, sit back, they do their job, they run the town, they make sure things happen at town hall in a manner that they're supposed to happen. And as a council, we have a chairperson that would be the quote unquote unofficial spokesperson of the town. I don't go out on a limb and talk about things that I shouldn't be talking about unless I have a discussion with somebody that knows about what we're doing. So yes, there's going to be discussions between the chairperson and the town manager. I think we're doing a great job of getting information out to the public.
You are.
The communication has to be there. That was one of the things that we talked about from the beginning that I was a big proponent of, is that we make sure that we communicate with the town so that people know what's going on. There were some hiccups at the beginning with the COVID about how much information we were getting out. And, again, new to everybody. So, but again, I think we worked through that. We have the town manager now has a dashboard that goes out once a week that gives a little bit more information to the public as far as kind of, positive rates, age groups, some additional information. So we're working on that. And again, it's a work in progress, and it's, new to us all. Again, we're only a year into this new form of a government. So
that's right.
I urge people, though, to, knowing that we have these meetings, if they want to hear from the town manager, hear what he's working on, hear what he's doing on a day-to-day basis, that twice a month we have our meetings and he does his town manager's report. And it's a very thorough, expansive report. And it tells everyone exactly what he's working on. It's, that interaction with the council so that the council knows what he's working on. But I urge people that, there's Zoom meetings. So, 7 o'clock at night when you ate dinner and you got nothing else to do and you got your glass of wine or beer in your hand, hop onto a meeting and just kind of listen, see what's going on. And it's good because, it answers a lot of questions that you see out on social media. And, why not get the information directly from the people that are, let's say, in the know? So town manager can give some information that people, can then relay to other people so that the message that we're getting out to the town is a positive, informative message.
Right. Now, one thing we also have to mention is your town meetings are broadcast on a certain television station.
Yes. See, there you go. So anybody
let's
else
talk about it.
And it was a great idea. I mean, having these meetings broadcast, putting them out there. Valley Shore obviously does a great job doing all this and putting all these meetings together, whether they were in person or Zoom meetings. And it's, again, an informative meeting. And it's informative so that people, again, can, listen to these shows if they can't get to a meeting and understand and know what's going on in town. I mean, all I would really, I just want to make sure that people understand we're doing the best we can to get the message out, but we also have to have the people come forth and make an effort to get involved. I don't like the, social media is its own demon, but
exactly.
We want to make sure that we get as much of a positive message out and an informative message out to the public so that they know what's going on, so that people aren't out there making comments or suggestions or saying things that, number one, aren't true, and number one, can be, detrimental to what's going on in our town. So I think it's great. I think it's great what you're doing. I think it's absolutely great for our town that these get broadcast and get videotaped so people have the opportunity in order to see it.
Exactly.
Even if it is you on the meeting, Peter.
You know what? Hold on. The election last year. Did I vote for you? I think I might have. I don't remember.
We're not talking about elections. We're going right over elections. I don't want to talk.
Come on. No. We can talk about it. No.
We're good. I'll leave that disaster to social media.
All right. Yeah. No. We're
you know what?
We won't talk about that.
Right. Like I've said before, the things that are important to us on the town council are the things that happen in Clinton. Okay, that's our concern. That's what we care about. I leave all the other stuff to everybody else who wants to fight the fight and battle the battle.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing. That was one of the other things about our goal setting that we needed to make sure that all the council members understood, regardless of anything else. We were elected to do a job, and our job was to represent the people of Clinton and do what is in the best interest of the people of Clinton.
Yes.
End of story. So, we're going to work to do that. Some of the policies, procedures, and such that we need to look at again, we will do. Some other good news, obviously, I can talk about now because it's kind of out there because we approved it at our last meeting, is that the town will be engaging in a new legal counsel very soon.
Really?
Can't announce the firm at this point, but we are in negotiations with a new firm to represent the town in legal issues. So another step and another change, I think, for the town that in the past where we had a lot of different attorneys and firms representing us, one of the important things was that the town engage a law firm that could handle all the issues that we had under one roof, which would make it easier for us as a town. So very excited that Carl played a great role in that and in putting that together. So that's going to happen fairly soon as well.
Cool. And speaking of the aforementioned town manager. How is he?
He's great. He's doing
How's
well.
he doing?
He's doing great. And, and again, that's why I want people to kind of, get involved, hear what he's got to say, listen to him, very smart, very intelligent. He's done a great job for our town. Based upon the COVID situation,
Mm-hmm.
pandemic that we've been under, I couldn't ask for, somebody better than Carl to be leading our town. And again, the reason I say that is because he's been in the industry 20 years. He's been, a town manager in different towns,
Yes.
in different
Yep.
states. So, he's been out there. He's done a great job at the other places that he's been at, and I am very excited for him to be here. And he's doing a wonderful job here.
And right before the COVID broke back in March,
Yep.
I actually stuck my head in and met him for the first time, because I believe you right before the COVID broke in March, him and I were supposed to be on.
We were. Yep. And then the COVID hit.
Right.
So, and then we get to do these fun meetings, so.
Oh, absolutely.
These are so fun.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and it's hard. And it's hard when you have these meetings, because there's more that you obviously would get more done when you would have an in-person meeting with the council members.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, but it is what it is. We deal with it. And, going forward, we'll keep an eye on what's going on, and we'll see what happens.
Right. Now, how important to you, being chairman of the town council, is it to get the people involved in town government and what's going on as far as like boards and commissions go? And
so one of the first things that I suggested that we as a council do is to put a policy in effect that allows any citizen of the town of Clinton, regardless of a party affiliation, to get involved.
right.
And the only way that you actually could do that was to open it up to all political parties. In the past, it's always been a Democratic Republican town where the RTC or the DTC would put forth an individual, and that individual would be then appointed to a position. One of the things that kind of, made me think of doing this policy and trying to get this policy in effect was that we have a Green Party member, Eric Bergman, on the town council. That being said, seeing that is a party that might be wanting to be more involved in the future. This is a policy that allows everybody, regardless of political affiliation, you can be Democrat, Republican, Green, unaffiliated, anything. You can submit an application online for any open position on any board or commission. You no longer have to come through your respective parties in order to be endorsed for that seat. And I think that was huge for us. Yes, that was a huge, one of the first things that I brought forth to the commission, to the council. And you know what? And everybody agreed with it, and it passed unanimously. And I think it's a great idea that allows us to get other people that otherwise didn't want to get involved, to be able to get involved. Because, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not on the RTC, I'm not on the DC, I'm not in a Green Party. No longer required. We're able to just, like I said, submit an application for a board or commission that you're interested in serving on, and then we bring that to the council.
And then the council votes on it, and then
council votes on it. Yeah.
You're good to go.
So that's one of the things that hopefully, and we have. I mean, honestly, we've gotten some more people involved in it, and some people have been appointed to boards and commissions that had not served before. So it's great. I think it's an idea that's working, and I think it's just we need to kind of get it out there more.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how are things going with the budget?
Budget's starting soon.
Excellent.
So actually, Carl, at our meeting on Wednesday, will be discussing our fiscal future. So he'll have some comments about kind of going forward. And again, different process for the town as well. I mean, basically with the town manager form of government, the town manager meets directly with the department heads, goes through budgets with them, and that's how it's handled. Well, where in the past we used to have public hearings and people would show up and such. Now we hand over the reins to the town manager, who obviously with his expertise will deal with the budgets with the department heads and then bring it forth to the council. I mean, obviously going forward, past that, there will be public hearings, there will be discussions. So, those things will still exist, but, in the infancy stages, Carl, meets with the department heads on a regular basis. So we know where we're headed as far as the budget goes. So we'll see what happens, but it's obviously coming up real soon, and we'll be dealing with that soon.
I was going to say, are there going to be a town referendum to vote, or is it going to, or the town council?
I got to say, I hope so.
yeah, right.
Because to go back to what we did last year,
Yeah.
But again, I guess the good thing is that people understand that it wasn't just us, saying that we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So public still did have input. It wasn't the greatest of ways to handle a hearing, but obviously they still had their input. They still had their say. We got quite a few emails from people that that responded. So if we have to do it that way again, we'll do it. Knock on wood, we can be to normal back then. In November, and
somewhat.
You know,
somewhat normal as far as
we can do it. Yeah. So one last thing too, I forgot to mention is that the town was just also awarded a STEEP grant by the state of Connecticut. So we got a STEEP grant for $128,500. And it is basically to work on the facades of our buildings downtown. So basically what that means is that the EDC is going to be working with, and has been working with actually local business owners for the facade that's downtown, and seeing what we can do to actually, kind of put everything to make it a nice little pretty picture down there. We'll definitely need some input from the property owners. So they'll be, obviously been brought into this discussion as well about that. But I think it's exciting also that we're going to be able to kind of work on our downtown and the facades on the buildings down there, which would, give a more unique look to our town. So Carl put forth that grant. He received a notice of the grant last week. And the next process is for the state economic development to finalize the grant. So, but we have been awarded it, so we know we have it. And hopefully spring of 2021, we can have something in place. So the council will be working with the EDC, and like I said, again, maybe having facades that are all kind of unique to what we have here. So, and hats off to the EDC, who's been doing a wonderful job as well. They did a lot of work with a downtown project, talking to the property owners about what they're looking for and what they need. And they did present something to Carl that he was able to get that information, which led to him applying for this grant. So the EDC is doing a wonderful job in helping out in all of this as well. So they should they should be given a little praise for this as well.
Absolutely. We got a little bit more time left, and before we let you go, I also got to let you know the train station looks good too. I was by it the other day.
Thank you. I know, huh? So we had some comments on that too. So I mean, again, everybody will have an opinion on kind of what they like, what they don't like. I think it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. I think it makes that area look even more wonderful. I can tell you that Unilever, an update on Unilever, is that he has his final approval for the apartment building, which he started working on, then had to kind of back away on that to finalize some permitting on that. So been told that he's going to be looking to move forward on that project, and then hopefully maybe putting forth a full site plan for the other building. So we're still working on that. It's not as much in the forefront as as we'd like it to be. COVID did play a lot in that, kind of delaying of a lot of that stuff. So, but it is still a viable project. People are still interested in going there, and hopefully very soon we'll have some more positive updates on that. But I know he's going to be going forward very soon on starting the apartments.
Oh, nice.
So, and what's that done? Obviously, that's a great area to.
It is.
So the train station, I believe, grand opening is going to be spring as well, 2021.
Oh, nice. All right. And we had a little bit more time left. What else is going on?
What else other than the train station, the old Morgan? I mean, there's a lot of exciting and good things happening in our town, and it's exciting that that people can see these things. It's one thing to talk about what's going on in town. It's another thing to see it. So the excitement in our town is that people drive by and they see the old Morgan site. Knock on wood. Yes, the demolitions. A lot of people. A lot of memories in the building. And by the way, we were able to get 500 bricks from the developer, who was kind enough to put those bricks aside. So everybody.
You posted something about this on social media today?
Yes. So yes,
I saw it.
So we are giving out bricks Saturday and Sunday this week, 9 to 12 at the town hall. So that is going to be happening as well. So people that ordered their bricks and requested their brick, because we're not charging any money, can pick them up on Saturday and Sunday. But it's good to see. It's good to see that our town's moving forward. It's good for people to see that the train station, that project again, and listen, it's got nothing to do with the town of Clinton. It was all on, Shoreline East and Amtrak, but at least they saw something that they wanted to finalize it. They wanted to move forward with it. So that's done. You got the old Morgan, that obviously is going to be moving along fairly quick. And, You got Unilever that's going to start, moving forward as well. You got the Cashman, Friendlies, that area over there.
Yeah.
Seems to be a little movement across the street. A local developer here in town is putting some commercial retail space over there. So there's a lot happening, and it's exciting to see that in our little town these things are happening. I think the grant and the facade fronts is going to be another huge impact. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see it finally happen, and people understand that hard work does pay off, and it does take time. And again, just you want everybody to be able to jump on board and say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing in our town. So
Absolutely.
it's exciting.
Absolutely.
It's fun to see. That's for sure.
Cool. Well, Chris Aniskovich, thanks for some time, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Chris.
Have
On behalf of
good
Chris
night.
Aniskovich, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night. We'll see you next time.